So the history of hand washing in healthcare is a lot more recent than I think one would think, or that I really thought before I looked into the history of it. It actually really got its start at Vienna General Hospital. A Hungarian doctor by the name of Ingaz Semmelweis worked in near the maternity ward. This was in the year 1846. He had noticed that women giving birth in the hospital were more prone to infections and death and illness from infections than the women giving birth in the midwife run unit. And he noticed that the differences between the two wards, the medical students and the doctors would go straight from autopsies right to the maternity ward without really taking care of cleanliness. They got there's a quoted term in this article, cadaverous particles on their hands. So naturally that would lead to some pretty nasty infections. And the midwives were not doing that. So that's a pretty big thing that Semmelweis had noticed. Because of that, Dr. Semmelweis made the doctors wash their hands. He actually had them wash their hands with chlorine. And after that, the death rates fell. The death rates started to go down in the hospital. And that determined that, yes, washing your hands after conducting an autopsy would very much help prevent disease for these poor pregnant women that were in the hospitals instead of the midwife wards. Now, again, there's a little more to it. In Italy, the Crimean War, Florence Nightingale. That's big, big, big name in nursing. Obviously, I think everyone knows Florence Nightingale. She incorporated so many modern medical practices that we have today, including hand washing and cleanliness and ventilation and all of that to help prevent infections and disease. Unfortunately, Nightingale and Semmelweis, their ideas were 100% correct, 100% proven to work, but they were not used very widely in the early days. And this is where I get to how recent all of this is. The 1980s, there was a bunch of foodborne illness outbreaks, a lot of HAIs happening in the US. And that was finally the warning bell that the CDC needed to identify that hand washing, proper hand hygiene, whether it be soap and water or hand sanitizer, would be the best way to prevent illness and disease spreading. So that's the basic history of hand washing in healthcare.